In the flickering light of tallow candles, a story begins to unfold. You are back in time, safe and comfortable, merely an observer of a world long past. You are the first to wake. It is not yet dawn. The deep, resonant quiet of the stone cottage is broken only by the soft, rhythmic breathing of your family. Eva, your wife, lies deep in a final, precious hour of sleep, her face smoothed of all its daytime worry. In the corner, your children, Pierre and Isabelle, are a tangle of limbs and linen, a shared blanket, a shared secret against the morning chill. The silence is a presence. It's the silence of a held breath before the world stirs, and it belongs to you. You slide from the shared warmth of the bed, the packed earth floor cool even through your thick woolen socks. The stone holds the chill of the long night. You move by memory, the well-worn path from bed to hearth as familiar as your own hands. You kneel before the hearth. Last night's fire is a kingdom of gray ash and a single, sullen ember. You don't need to see. Your hands, calloused and broad, know this work. A twist of dried straw from the basket, the scritch of flint and steel. A shower of sparks, a patient breath, and a tiny, defiant flame licks at the straw. You cradle it, feeding it with your breath, your body a shield against the still, cold air of the cottage. You add slivers of pine, then a small, dry log. The fire claims it, and the new, small light pushes the shadows back from the circle of the hearth. You hold your hands to the burgeoning heat. The smell is of wood smoke, and the faint, mineral scent of the stones. The sound is the only sound now, the low hum of flame and the gentle crack and hiss of sap. You pull your tunic over your head. The rough-spun wool is heavy, smelling of wood smoke, of your own familiar scent, of the lanolin from the sheep who gave their wool. You pull on your thick hose and fasten your tunic. The tools of your trade chisels, a mallet, a handsaw rest in a neat row on a low bench, waiting. But first, the fire. You take the iron poker and coax the flame to the back of the fireplace, to the small bread oven built into the stone. Its clay interior is already growing warm. You can feel the heat beginning to radiate, a promise held in stone. The village well is a short walk. The dawn is not yet a color, but a softening of the black to a deep, inky blue. Your breath plumes in the air. The village is a cluster of sleeping shapes, thatched roofs dark with dew. The only sound is the crunch of your own boots on the frost-crisp grass and the distant, lonely call of a waking bird. The well rope is coarse in your hands, the bucket splashing into the deep, cold dark below. Back inside, the bucket is heavy. You pour the cold, clear water into a large earthenware crock. The firelight dances on the water's dark, still surface. Eva will use this for the dough. She stirs then, as if the clatter of the bucket handle has called to her. You see her eyes open, finding you in the firelight. She gives you a slow, sleep-softened smile, and it is a small, precious ember in the quiet room. She rises, her own day beginning with the kneading of the dough she set to rise last night. You sit on a three-legged stool by the hearth. The world outside the one small, thick-paned window is shifting from deep blue to the color of a pale, watery milk. You take a whetstone and your broadest chisel. The shhh of the blade on the stone is a rhythmic, soothing sound. It is a thinking sound. The sound of a day's intent being formed. You do not think of the day's work as a single, heavy weight. You think of the first cut you will make in a new beam of oak, the scent of the heartwood as you open it to the air. You think of the smooth, finished curve of a new table leg under your palm. The fire crackles its approval. Outside, a cock crows. The first true light, thin and pale as buttermilk, begins to seep through the small, grimy panes of the window. It catches the smoke rising from your chimney, turning it to a silver-gray plume against the brightening sky. Another day in Mist Valley has begun. You stand in the doorway of your workshop, the morning's rain still clinging to the thatch above. the steady drip, drip, drip of water echoing the rhythm of your own breath. The smell of damp earth and wet wood fills your nostrils, the cold air a stark contrast to the warmth of the hearth inside. You pull your woolen cloak tighter around your shoulders, feeling the rough weave against your calloused hands. The sound of the rain on the slate tiles is a soft, soothing murmur, a lullaby sung by the sky. You step inside, the sudden warmth wrapping around you like an old friend. The hearth in the corner crackles softly, the fire casting dancing shadows on the rough-hewn walls. The scent of sawdust and pine is strong here, a familiar comfort. You run your hands along the workbench, feeling the smooth wood beneath your fingertips, the grain a testament to countless hours of labor. You pick up your adze, the weight of it familiar in your hand. The scrape of metal on wood is a soft whisper, a promise of the day's work ahead. You begin to shape the timber, the rhythm of your strokes a steady, soothing beat. The smell of freshly cut wood fills the air, mingling with the smoke from the hearth. Outside, the rain continues to fall, the sound a gentle backdrop to your work. The steam rises from your cup of ale, the bitter scent a welcome contrast to the sweet smell of the wood. You take a sip, the cool liquid a balm for your throat. You hear the distant murmur of the village waking up, the soft clatter of pails, and the low hum of voices. The sound of Eva's voice, warm and comforting, drifts in from the kitchen. The smell of freshly baked bread makes your mouth water, the promise of a hearty meal a comforting thought. You continue to work, the sound of your tools a steady, soothing rhythm. The light from the window casts a soft glow on your work, the dust motes dancing in the air. The warmth of the hearth, the scent of the wood, the sound of the rain, all combine to create a sense of peace, a sense of home. The midday sun peeks through the clouds, casting a warm glow on the village. You step out of your workshop, the scent of the earth and the rain a welcome change from the smell of the wood. The sound of the village is louder now, the hum of activity a soft, soothing murmur. You make your way to the tavern, the cobbled stones slick beneath your feet. The smell of the stew simmering in the pot is a warm, comforting scent. You step inside, the heat from the fire a welcome contrast to the cool air outside. The sound of laughter and conversation fills the air, the hum of activity a soft, soothing murmur. You take a seat at the long, wooden table, the rough surface smooth beneath your hands. The scent of the stew is stronger here, the rich, hearty smell a promise of the meal to come. You take a sip of your ale, the cool liquid a balm for your throat. The sound of the tavern is a soft, soothing murmur, the hum of conversation, and laughter a gentle backdrop to your meal. The warmth of the fire, the scent of the stew, the sound of the rain outside, all combine to create a sense of peace, a sense of home. You finish your meal, the warmth of the stew a comforting presence in your belly. You step back out into the cool air, the scent of the rain a welcome change from the heat of the tavern. The sound of the village is softer now, the hum of activity a gentle murmur. You make your way back to your workshop, the cobbled stones slick beneath your feet. The scent of the wood and the sawdust is a comforting presence, the familiar smell a welcome change from the scent of the stew. You pick up your tools, the weight of them familiar in your hands. The sound of your tools is a steady, soothing rhythm, the scrape of metal on wood a soft whisper. The light from the window casts a soft glow on your work, the dust motes dancing in the air. The warmth of the hearth, the scent of the wood, the sound of the rain, all combine to create a sense of peace, a sense of home. The day wears on, the rain continuing to fall. The sound of the village is a soft, soothing murmur, the hum of activity a gentle backdrop to your work. The scent of the wood and the sawdust is a comforting presence, the familiar smell a welcome change from the scent of the stew. You hear the distant murmur of the village winding down, the soft clatter of pails, and the low hum of voices. The sound of Eva's voice, warm and comforting, drifts in from the kitchen. The smell of freshly baked bread makes your mouth water, the promise of a hearty meal a comforting thought. You finish your work, the warmth of the hearth a comforting presence. You step out into the cool air, the scent of the rain a welcome change from the smell of the wood. The sound of the village is softer now, the hum of activity a gentle murmur. You make your way back to your home, the cobbled stones slick beneath your feet. The scent of the earth and the rain is a comforting presence, the familiar smell a welcome change from the scent of the wood. You step inside, the warmth of the hearth a welcome contrast to the cool air outside. The sound of the hearth is a soft, soothing murmur, the crackle of the fire a gentle backdrop to the evening. The scent of the bread and the stew is a comforting presence, the familiar smell a welcome change from the scent of the wood. You take a seat at the table, the rough surface smooth beneath your hands. The sound of the family is a soft, soothing murmur, the hum of conversation and laughter a gentle backdrop to your meal. The warmth of the fire, the scent of the bread and the stew, the sound of the rain outside, all combine to create a sense of peace, a sense of home. You finish your meal, the warmth of the stew a comforting presence in your belly. You step back out into the cool air, the scent of the rain a welcome change from the heat of the hearth. The sound of the village is softer now, the hum of activity a gentle murmur. You make your way back to your workshop, the cobbled stones slick beneath your feet. The scent of the wood and the sawdust is a comforting presence, the familiar smell a welcome change from the scent of the stew. You pick up your tools, the weight of them familiar in your hands. The sound of your tools is a steady, soothing rhythm, the scrape of metal on wood a soft whisper. The light from the window casts a soft glow on your work, the dust motes dancing in the air. The warmth of the hearth, the scent of the wood, the sound of the rain, all combine to create a sense of peace, a sense of home. The night wears on, the rain continuing to fall. The sound of the village is a soft, soothing murmur, the hum of activity a gentle backdrop to your work. The scent of the wood and the sawdust is a comforting presence, the familiar smell a welcome change from the scent of the stew. You hear the distant murmur of the village winding down, the soft clatter of pails, and the low hum of voices. The sound of Eva's voice, warm and comforting, drifts in from the kitchen. The smell of freshly baked bread makes your mouth water, the promise of a hearty meal a comforting thought. You finish your work, the warmth of the hearth a comforting presence. You step out into the cool air, the scent of the rain a welcome change from the smell of the wood. The sound of the village is softer now, the hum of activity a gentle murmur. You make your way back to your home, the cobbled stones slick beneath your feet. The scent of the earth and the rain is a comforting presence, the familiar smell a welcome change from the scent of the wood. You step inside, the warmth of the hearth a welcome contrast to the cool air outside. The sound of the hearth is a soft, soothing murmur, the crackle of the fire a gentle backdrop to the evening. The scent of the bread and the stew is a comforting presence, the familiar smell a welcome change from the scent of the wood. You take a seat at the table, the rough surface smooth beneath your hands. The sound of the family is a soft, soothing murmur, the hum of conversation and laughter a gentle backdrop to your meal. The warmth of the fire, the scent of the bread and the stew, the sound of the rain outside, all combine to create a sense of peace, a sense of home. You finish your meal, the warmth of the stew a comforting presence in your belly. You step back out into the cool air, the scent of the rain a welcome change from the heat of the hearth. The sound of the village is softer now, the hum of activity a gentle murmur. You make your way back to your workshop, the cobbled stones slick beneath your feet. The scent of the wood and the sawdust is a comforting presence, the familiar smell a welcome change from the scent of the stew. You pick up your tools, the weight of them familiar in your hands. You set down your chisel as the light through the workshop window turns amber. The day's sawdust coats your fingers, fine as flour, and you brush your hands against your leather apron. The motion releases a small cloud that catches the slanting sunlight golden motes dancing in the still air. Outside, the afternoon rain has stopped, leaving only the steady drip from the thatch eaves, a patient rhythm like a heartbeat. Your back aches. The good ache of honest work. You've spent the day planing oak boards for the miller's new door, and the wood shavings lie in pale curls at your feet, releasing their green, living scent into the workshop. You bend slowly, gathering them into your roughened palms. These will go to the hearth. Nothing is wasted. The shavings will catch quickly, their edges curling into bright ember lace when Eva lights the evening fire. You step out into the narrow lane. The cobblestones glisten, dark and slick. Puddles reflect the gray-white sky, and you step carefully around them, your wooden clogs knocking softly against the stone. The air tastes of wet earth and wood smoke. From somewhere down the lane, you hear Mist Valley settling into itself. A shutter closing, a cow lowing in a distant byre, the faint clang of the blacksmith's final hammer strokes. Your cottage stands where it always stands, stone and timber, its walls the color of rain-soaked granite. Smoke rises from the chimney in a thin, steady column. You push open the door, and warmth wraps around you like a blanket pulled from storage. Inside, the single room glows. Eva has already lit the fire, and it crackles in the central hearth, flames licking at split logs. The smell of burning applewood sweetens the air, mixing with something else bread, still warm, and the earthy richness of pottage bubbling in the iron pot. Your stomach tightens with hunger you hadn't noticed until now. You're late, Eva says, but there's no sharpness in it. She's kneading dough at the worn table, her hands moving in that ancient rhythm you've watched for 20 years. Press, fold, turn. Press, fold, turn. Flour dusts her forearms like snow. She doesn't look up, but you see the small smile at the corner of her mouth. The oak was stubborn, you reply, hanging your apron on the peg by the door. Your voice sounds quiet in the warm space, almost reverent. Pierre sits cross-legged near the hearth, feeding small sticks into the flames. He's careful, methodical, placing each piece just so. The boy is 12 now, nearly ready for his own apprenticeship. His hair catches the firelight, turning copper. He looks up at you, and you nod. He nods back. No words needed. Isabel sits on the sleeping bench, her legs tucked beneath her skirts, fingers working a drop spindle. The wool twists and lengthens, and the spindle makes its gentle whirring sound as it turns. She hums something. You don't recognize the tune, but it blends with the fire's crackle, the pot's bubble, the rain's last dripping outside. You lower yourself onto the bench beside the hearth, and your bones seem to sigh with relief. The heat soaks into your knees, your shoulders, the small of your back. You close your eyes for just a moment. The warmth is everything. The fire pops, sending up a small shower of sparks that die before they reach the smoke-blackened beams above. Eva brings you a wooden cup of small beer. It's cool in your hands, slightly sweet, with that familiar yeasty taste. You drink slowly. The liquid soothes your throat, still dry from breathing sawdust all day. The widow Marjorie wants 3 trenchers, Eva says, settling beside you. Her shoulder touches yours. I told her you'd have them by Sunday. Beech or oak, you ask. She didn't say. Beech then. It's softer on old teeth. Eva makes a sound of agreement. Her hand finds yours in the dim light, and her fingers are still warm from the dough, slightly tacky with flour. You hold them gently. Outside, the village bells ring for vespers. The sound rolls across Mist Valley, low and bronze, calling the day to its close. But you don't move. None of you move. The fire burns. The pottage bubbles. Isabel's spindle whirs. Pierre adds another stick, and the flames leap higher for a moment, painting dancing shadows on the stone walls. This is the hour you work for. Not the coins, though they matter. Not the reputation, though it helps. This, the warmth, the fullness, the quiet breathing of your family around you as darkness gathers outside and the hearth holds it back. You close your eyes again. The fire's heat presses against your face like a gentle hand. The damp chill of late evening seeps through the thick stone walls of your cottage. Outside, the rain has begun, a soft, insistent drumming against the slate tiles of your roof. It's a familiar lullaby, one that has accompanied your evenings for as long as you can remember. You sit by the hearth, the fire a low, contented hum, its warmth a welcome caress against your tired shoulders. The scent of wood smoke, mingled with the faintest hint of dried herbs from the eaves, fills the air, a comforting, earthy perfume. Your hands, calloused and strong from a lifetime of shaping wood, rest in your lap. You trace the grain of a small, smooth piece of oak you've been whittling. It's a simple thing, a bird with outstretched wings, nothing grand, but the repetitive motion soothes you. The firelight dances across its surface, bringing out the subtle variations in the wood. You can feel the tiny imperfections, the places where the grain pulls against the blade, and you adjust your grip, your movements practiced and sure. Eva is at the table, her back to you, bent over a basket of mending. The soft rasp of needle against linen is a quiet counterpoint to the rain. The lamplight pools around her, illuminating the silver threads beginning to weave through her dark hair, a testament to the years you've spent together in this valley. You watch the gentle rise and fall of her shoulders as she breathes, a silent rhythm that anchors you. The air around her smells faintly of flower, and the lavender sachets she tucks into drawers and chests. Pierre, your eldest, is by the window, a thin candle casting a flickering halo around his head. He's hunched over a parchment, a goose quill scratching diligently across its surface. The sound is a dry, delicate whisper, a stark contrast to the wet symphony outside. You can't quite make out what he's writing, perhaps accounts for the village market, or a letter to a distant cousin, but you appreciate his quiet industry. He's a good boy, a thoughtful one, much like his mother. Isabel, your youngest, is already asleep, curled on the rug near the hearth, a worn woolen blanket pulled up to her chin. Her breathing is soft and even, a gentle puff of air that stirs the ashes in the grate. You can see the faint rise and fall of her chest, the peaceful stillness of her face. Occasionally, a faint sigh escapes her lips, a dream passing through her slumber. The firelight paints her cheeks with a rosy glow, making her look even younger, more vulnerable. The rain intensifies slightly, a cascade now, washing the dust from the world. Each drop that strikes the thatch of your roof sends a tiny, resonant thrum through the cottage. You close your eyes for a moment, letting the sounds wash over you. The rhythmic patter, the crackle and hiss of the fire, the soft murmur of Eva's mending, the faint scratching of Pierre's quill, and the silent, steady breath of your sleeping daughter. It's a symphony of domestic peace, a tapestry woven from the ordinary moments of your life. You open your eyes and look at the unfinished bird in your hands. The wood feels warm now, infused with the heat from your palm. You bring it closer, inhaling its faint, woody aroma. It's a good scent, honest and true, like the smell of freshly sawn timber. You remember the tree it came from, a sturdy oak on the edge of the forest, its branches reaching towards the sky. You remember the satisfying thud of your axe, the way the chips flew, the clean, sharp scent of the freshly cut wood. It's a memory that settles deep within you, a feeling of connection to the earth, to the cycle of growth and renewal. Eva lets out a soft sigh, and you turn your head. She's finished with the mending, and she's now gathering the stray threads and scraps, her movements economical and graceful. She stands, stretching her back with a quiet groan, and then turns towards you, a gentle smile gracing her lips. The lamplight catches the curve of her cheek, the warmth in her eyes. "Almost time for rest, Thomas," she says, her voice a low murmur, barely audible above the rain. You nod, setting the unfinished bird down on the hearthstone. Indeed, Eva. A good day's work. And the rain will help the new seedlings. She walks over to you, her bare feet making no sound on the packed earth floor. She kneels beside your chair, her hand reaching out to gently touch your cheek. Her touch is cool, a soft contrast to the warmth of the fire. You lean into it, closing your eyes again, savoring the simple intimacy of the moment. The scent of lavender and wood smoke envelops you. Pierre closes his book with a soft thud. He stretches, his joints popping quietly. He glances at you and Eva, a knowing smile on his face, and then gathers his candle and parchment. I'm going to my room, father, mother. The rain is quite loud tonight. Good night, Pierre, Eva replies softly. Sleep well. He nods and disappears up the narrow wooden stairs, the sound of his footsteps fading quickly. The quiet settles back in, deeper now, punctuated only by the persistent, comforting rhythm of the rain. Eva rises and moves towards the hearth. She adds a small log to the dying embers, and the flames flare up briefly, casting dancing shadows on the walls. The room feels warmer, cozier. She then turns and looks at you, her gaze steady and loving. Come, Thomas, she says, extending her hand. The night is deep, and the rain sings us to sleep. You take her hand, your rough fingers closing around her smaller, softer ones. The warmth of her skin is a familiar comfort. You rise, the creak of your joints a soft protest against the day's labor. Together, you stand in the flickering firelight, the sound of the rain a constant, soothing presence, the scent of smoke and lavender a gentle embrace. The world outside is dark and wet, but within these stone walls, there is only peace, warmth, and the quiet hum of a life well lived. You are Thomas Stone, and you are listening to the rain. It is not the hard, angry rain that lashes the shutters, but a soft, ceaseless, sighing rain that has been falling since dusk. It hisses against the slate roof of your tavern, a sound so constant it has become the new silence. The air in the common room is heavy with the smell of it damp wool, wet earth from the road, and the ghost of 100 past suppers soaked into the timber and rushes. You lean back in the chair by the great hearth, the only light coming from the low, pulsating heart of the peat fire, and a single tallow candle guttering in a dish of oil on the table before you. The day's work is a memory in your aching muscles. The benches are upturned on the scrubbed oak tables. The smell of spilled ale and wood smoke is a perfume of peace. Your family sleeps. Up the narrow stairs, Eva, your wife, breathes the deep, even breaths of the just. You picture her, a gentle hillock under the woolen blankets, her hair a dark spill across the linen. Through the thin floorboards, you can almost feel the warm, sleeping weight of Pierre and Isabel, tangled in their shared cot, dreaming the fearless dreams of the young. The tavern is a sleeping beast around you. The last log in the hearth shifts, sending a flurry of amber sparks up the sooty chimney. It is a sound you feel in your teeth and your bones. You watch the firelight play over the familiar tools of your other trade. Your real trade, hung in neat rows on the far wall. The adzes, the chisels, the saws. They hang in the shadows, quiet now. The scent of green wood and fresh pine shavings, your scent, is for a moment stronger than the smell of the rain. You are a carpenter before you are a tavern keeper. The smooth haft of a chisel, the grain of a well-seasoned oak plank, the clean line of a dovetail joint, these are your prayers. A soft, rhythmic thump-thump-thump begins above you. You still listening. It is the sound of Isabel, your daughter, turning in her small bed. A floorboard creaks as she rolls over. Then the sound of a tiny, bare foot on the floorboard. A pause. Then a pad of small, determined feet on the wooden stairs. You don't turn. You wait. A small figure, swimming in a nightshirt 3 sizes too big, pads into the circle of firelight. Isabel, her hair a wild, sleep-tousled halo, her eyes huge in the gloom. "Can't sleep, little mouse." You whisper, your voice a low rumble. She doesn't answer. She simply climbs into your lap, a bundle of warm nightgown and sharp little knees and elbows. She smells of sleep, and the lavender Eva tucks into the linen. You wrap your arms around her, and together you watch the fire. The rain on the roof is a lullaby. You can hear the soft hiss-splat as it drips from the thatch in the back garden, the gurgle of the eave trough. A log settles again, and a long, glowing ember falls, sending a final constellation of orange sparks up into the soot-black throat of the chimney. You think of the day, of the grain of the oak you planed for a new table, the sweet, pale curls of wood that had spiraled to your feet, of Eva's hands, dusted with flour and moving with a calm, eternal rhythm over the dough in the kitchen, of the sound of the boys, Pierre and the Miller boy, laughing as they chased the inn's cat in the yard before the rain came. Isabel's breathing deepens, grows heavy. She is a warm, trusting weight against your chest. You feel the slow, steady rhythm of her heart against your own, a quiet, living counterpoint to the drumming rain. You do not think of the world beyond the rain, not of the road to the next village, or of the tax collector's next visit, or of the price of salt. You are here, in this warm, breathing pocket of night. The fire, the sleeping child, the sleeping house, the sound of the rain. This is not an escape from the world, but a sinking into its most peaceful, most private heart. Carefully, so as not to wake her, you shift. You rise, the sleeping child in your arms, and carry Isabel back through the sleeping house. Her head lolls against your shoulder. You climb the narrow stairs, each step a familiar, comforting groan. You pass the door to your room, seeing the dark shape of Eva under the covers. You lay Isabel in her small bed, next to the soft, even breathing of her brother. You pull the rough-spun blanket up to her chin. For a long moment, you stand on the small landing. Below, the fire is a fading eye in the darkness of the common room. The rain has gentled to a whisper. In the perfect, profound quiet, you can hear the house breathe. The creak of a settling beam, the sigh of the wind in the chimney, the deep, slow rhythm of your family, safe and asleep. You are Thomas Stone, the carpenter, the keeper of this hearth. The fire in the common room has burned to a bed of deep, glowing crimson. You go back down the stairs, your footsteps the only sound. You will bank the fire for the night. You will check the latch on the door. And then, finally, you will climb the stairs to Eva's warmth and sleep.